First year of being in Germany was a disaster. Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel and let's get started. Today is gonna be very wild. I'm gonna be answering some Reddit reviews about life in Germany, and I'm gonna be reacting them based on my own experience and my personal opinion about life in Germany. Before that, and voila. We'll be starting with the first one. It actually starts with a question. I'm gonna read it and then give my own opinion. If you want, if you're living in Germany, and maybe if you want to come live in Germany, you can let me know what you think about it, about your experience already in Germany, or was it helpful for you, for your opinion on coming to Germany? Let's get started. Well, is anyone here actually happy with their lives in Germany? After having spent a lot of time in this sub, it looks like the overwhelming majority of people here are experiencing very negative and even traumatic experiences during their stays in Germany. Both migrants that have relocated here and native Germans. Well, to be honest, I've been in Germany for 3 years right now. And during these 3 years, a lot of things have changed. Not only the prices have risen, not only that, but also I find it difficult to find native Germans here. It's actually very, the state that I'm living in, it's very immigrants friendly. But the thing is, I feel like the government has let a lot of people illegally in, and these people that have come here illegally because of some problems that they were having in their own homeland, which is completely normal, yeah. When your home is ruined, you definitely look for another home. But the thing is, they don't care as much as they do to the illegal immigrants, you know? And there are so many less workers in the Ausländerbehörde, in the immigration office, because there's an immigration office in each and every, even the smallest cities and even villages, there's this immigration office. And they lack a lot of workers there. That because of that, unfortunately, they find it really difficult to manage the whole pile of immigrant, um, projects and folders. It's really been difficult. The cities, especially big cities, Berlin, Frankfurt, they're kind of ruined, to be honest. I've never been in Berlin. I've just driven past Frankfurt. But the thing is, it is not as safe as it used to be 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I would go out partying. I'm not doing that anymore. I would come back at 4 o'clock. I could walk alone on the streets alone. But now I have to call my boyfriend, even when it's 10 o'clock p.m., 10 p.m., and I'm making a Feierabend. I have to call my boyfriend and tell him that, can you pick me up somehow, even if you're just walking. And it's not as safe as it used to be. And I think last week, I heard from an old lady that there was an accident. There was an accident somehow in one of the trains in the city, inner city trains, interstate, not interstate, inner city, like U-Bahn, like metros. And the lady said that the police were there They were looking for a guy with a knife, okay? And the old lady said that I had to hold my hands like this up on the air until they were done searching us in the middle of the city and in the middle of the day, which is not a good one, unfortunately. That is like what's happening. We may carry on. I moved to Germany almost 3 years ago. Oh, I have to admit that from the very beginning, since things have worked out overwhelmingly good for me, I have barely had. Oh, I have wait for barely had issues with work, flat hunting, etc. That being said, I knew exactly what I was getting myself into, and I made and still make great efforts to integrate myself and accept my new home. It's a very good thing. What I hate about some people is that not only they do not respect the rules in the country that they have moved in, basically it's become their new home, they find it really difficult to integrate themselves with the new rules, with the, you know, with life here. They try to make their own rules that they had in their own country or in their own home back there. They try to make it happen in here, which is not something really beautiful. You know, at least I'm like, if the trash needs to be divided, I have to do it. If you don't do it, du wirst bestraft. I have a neighbor. I once like literally it was 15 minutes past 10 p.m. and after 10 p.m. this is Ruhezeit. It's time for staying calm, you know, relaxation time, and no loud sounds are allowed. It was just 15 minutes past 10, not even 15, 10 minutes past 10 p.m. She came downstairs and warned me, which is, she's not German, by the way. My German neighbors, I have one nearby and I have one downstairs. They are love. But the one that is upstairs, she's quite annoying. She came downstairs and she was like, we have to go to work tomorrow morning. Please keep it down. I'm like, I'm sorry. You know that it never happens, you know? But last week, it was in the middle of the weekday. And I have to go to work morning. I have to go to the university. I have my boyfriend, he has to go to school, you know, go to university as well. And at 8 o'clock, they had guests. I understand it. It was 12. It was past midnight, and they were having music so loud. But I didn't go upstairs because they were having guests. I also follow subreddits of other countries, and only in this country subreddit do people complain. And frankly, while that life in Germany is so shitty that they would rather move back to their home countries, now I understand that people on Reddit, myself included, to be honest, are terribly pessimistic, negative, and frankly out of touch with reality. I am astonished to read such posts because in my rather large circle of migrant friends from all corners of the world, people here have only told me the best and their experiences align with mine. Can it really be that our tiny exception who has been simply lucky with everything in an otherwise shitty country? Well, people go through exceptions. I had a friend here from the very beginning on. She was really lucky. You know, she was pretty lucky before she even came to Germany. She had gone into a relationship 1 month prior to the immigration, to her coming in Germany, I mean. And they started, you know, she came in Germany and she didn't have to look for a place. From the very beginning, she was living with her boyfriend, who was living in Germany for like 8 years, you know, and he was basically a resident. And then she had this she got into accepted into the university, then the work, then she decided to move out after 1.5 years, and then she got his Aufenthaltstitel, um, and she claimed that she was really lucky and life in Germany for her was really good until today. There are exceptions. There really are exceptions. In my case, a I had to look for a fraternity house. I don't know if it's right. Like a frat house, a WG, Wohngemeinschaft. I did find one 2 months prior to me coming in Germany. I did find one. I talked to the not realtor. I talked to my tenant. No, I talked to my owner, the house owner, and I did even a video call with all the people that were living there, all the girls. We did a video call. They showed me my room. They showed me everything around in this video call. And to be honest, I really loved it. And I found it. I came. My owner picked me up. My boyfriend back then was already living in Germany, but in a completely different state. I was upstairs and she was down. I was upstate and she was downstate. He was downstate. And a lot of things didn't really work out for me in the very beginning. Yeah, the first month it was great, but after the first month, I realized that what I'm studying is really not worth studying, And after on, I decided to look for a new major on and on for almost 2 years. And I moved from that state. I moved from Hamburg to downstate. It was a very difficult time for me. I was 20 back then. I'm 23 now. Quite difficult. Everyone goes through different states of exception. My boyfriend, there is this bee outside, is trying to come in. Boom, you cannot come in because the window's closed. I hate them, sorry. Everybody goes through different states, and any case is different. Any case. You can't really compare your case with another one. You can just use their experience and maybe try to align with their experience. That's the only thing you can do. Just because my friend went through a very not quite hard time during her immigration, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna go through the same thing. Or maybe you want to come here in Germany, you may be going through just another level of difficulty or something not even difficult, And one important thing I have to add up is you have to know which country you're from. I'm from Middle East. I'm from Iran, and our country, people are friendly. We are really we have warm people. We have the most sympathetic, friendliest people in the world. And I come from a big city. I'm used to a big city. I'm used to loud noises and going out at 12 o'clock and seeing lots of people on the streets. But Germany is not like that. For example, if you're coming from the USA, I think America's nightlife is the same as in Iran. I think I've never been in America, unfortunately. And if you want to come to Germany, you have to know that after 20 o'clock, after 8 o'clock p.m., everywhere is closed. There are just some few stores like Netto and Penny and some Rewe to goes that you're able to buy some groceries. And there are some kiosks. You can buy some stuff there, but they're quite expensive. You have to keep them in mind. And Sundays, everywhere is closed, and I'm not used to that. I remember back in Iran, Fridays I would always go out. I would love to go to malls. I'm a mall person, you know. But then here, it doesn't really make a difference if I go to work or not to go to work on Sunday. It's better to go to work. Well, I'm a waitress. That's fine. Well, we may move on to the next question. There is a comment here, and he or she claims that I'm from the USA, lived in Germany for 8 years and became a citizen this year. Very happy here. If I don't stay in Germany, I'll always stay in Europe for the rest of my life. You know, it's always different. It really is important from which country, and even if not country, from which state of your country, from which city of your country you're from. Maybe those who are from Texas of the USA, they are gonna experience a whole different level of life in Germany. Texas, dry. Germany, damp. Feucht. Humidity. You know? It's so different. Well, I love Germany. I'm happy that I moved here. Well, you're talking about experiences right now. Next question. Well, Germany was the biggest mistake of my life. I want to rant. I want to rant a little because I don't really know how to take all this rage out of me, and I also want to hear other points of views. Almost a year ago, I moved to Germany. Before that, I spent a year in Spain, and before that, I've been even traveling as a digital nomad for 3 years. Sorry. Life was good. I was making good money. I had good friends all over the world. I was seeing my family every 4 months, and life felt like it was moving in direction. I was growing and I could see a lot of opportunities on the horizon. After all that movement, I wanted to find a place where I could start building something more permanent, kind of my own home. I also wanted to get out of kind of consulting I was doing, so I decided to go for a master's. At the time, I was choosing between Spain, Ireland, and Germany. Germany won because of how cheap it was to live here. And because I had friends and friends from back home in mix, already living there. In Marseille? Already living there. From there, everything started going downhill. I don't really like the city I was living in, Leipzig. Well, hold on. The eastern of the Europe, of the Germany, I don't know what to say. I've never been there, but I had friends there. One friend claimed that it was a very good experience, and the people, the elderly, especially, they were very kinder than in other states of the Germany. Well, she was really happy. On the other hand, I have a boss, and this boss has a cousin, and this cousin had a friend coming to Germany. The friend had to move to the eastern of Europe, Leipzig, and so she was really happy, and she had to move back. She had to beg the immigration office to move her back. You know what I mean? It's all different for everybody. There are exceptions all over the world. It felt like a punk town with a teenage mentality. No one wanted to do anything. No one wanted to build anything. It just felt like a raw, cheap version of Hobo Berlin. The aesthetics weren't there, neither were the people. Saxony is one of the most racist places you can be in Germany. And because of the size of the city, there just wasn't that much to do. It simply wasn't my crowd. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Those who are coming from big city, you may be saying that, okay, I'm looking for a time to settle down. You can't. You can settle down once you have your family, once you have everything accomplished, you know? You cannot settle down at your 20s, you know, when you're just have moved to another country building your own home. When you want to make money when you want to study somewhere. Just a small town to settle is not a good choice. It definitely isn't. If you're working, it is. But if you're a student and you have to work, you have to have a student job, it's not working. It is not. I mean, if you think that okay, that beautiful village in Germany, it's so full of peace and so you can go there with the horses and everything. I swear I was there. I was there. I was depressed. I was looking for a way to kill myself. It was fun from at the beginning, going out into the nature, greeting with the horses, the chicken. But no, if you are wanting to settle down at your 20s and wanting to come here as a student and need to work, big city. Or even not a big city, don't use small cities. I mean, it's my personal opinion. Don't use that. It's not good. Yes, it is good because it's cheaper, but just because it's cheap, it doesn't mean that you have to ruin your mentality. At the beginning, when you move to another country, you need to be in the crowd because it's already depressed enough. You're already alone enough. You know what I mean? To all of that, add the German winter and how fucking difficult it is to find a mental health practitioner. I needed someone to continue prescribing my ADHD medication, and I never found one. Actually, there's some really good practitioners. Maybe he or she couldn't find one. During my second semester, I was supposed to spend a semester in Australia, Austria, and honestly, that only made my image of Germany even worse. Everything there felt more polished, nicer, people were friendlier, and things seemed to work. By the beginning of summer, it was already very clear that I hated living in Germany. Long story short, okay, dude, I was long already. And now I'll be spending 6 months back at my parents' house trying to recover my sanity. Now all I can think about is that this country took my mental health and feel far from my friends. I lost a lot of money. I only managed to keep my job during this first semester, and my master's actually had tuition fees. I can't find a job anywhere close to what I used to earn. And honestly, I feel like I lost a year of my life, and I also feel like I lost my positive attitude I used to have. Well, to be honest, he or she gave up so soon. After 1 year of living in Germany, of course nothing's gonna go well. My first year in Germany, dude, you have no idea what happened. My first year of being in Germany was a disaster. Of course, you can't just expect your first time being in a new home to be the best year of your life. Um, and to be really honest, my first year, I was depressed. I was in this university I hated. I was in a very small village. The bus would always come every 1 hour until 5 o'clock. Okay? There were only 4 hours that the bus would come and go good, properly. And then I just realized that I had another university acceptance letter from another university in NRW, okay, in Essen. Essen is not a really good place. I'm just saying it. I don't like that. And I just said, but it was better to come to Essen than be in that very small village. No, it was not for me. There were people happy there, but I even heard from the locals there that they felt disappointed to the young people living there. German locals, for real. I would use my bicycle to get to the bus station, and sometimes I would use my bicycle to get to the train station to go to the main city. When I wanted to go to the gym, it would take me 2 hours, but I still did that. You know what I mean? If you decide to move on, if you decide to build something, you have to be tough enough. You can't just give up after 1 year. And you can't just say that, okay, I did go to Australia. I don't know how to spell that, sorry. Österreich. That went there, and you know, it was not even comparable. Dude, you could have changed your city at least. I did that. I knew that I wasn't happy. I busted my ass to move to another city. And then I moved to the city. This is the part. Something happened. I was supposed to move in with a friend. The friend, we had the house, we had the apartment, everything was done, the lease was signed, everything. And she bailed on me last second, and I have to go 2 months paying rent of 1,000 almost alone, plus the tuition fees of the university. The first year, the first time, the first things of everything is of course gonna be hard. You know, my first job in Germany was a disaster. My boss was a shitty man. Even the boss woman, she was a disaster as well. The first things, of course, are gonna suck, but it doesn't mean that you have to give up, please. Well, I think that's enough for today. I've answered enough about life in Germany. If you want to see part 2, let me know. And don't forget to like, please. It motivates me more than anything. And subscription. My love for you. You know, it's important. Know what you think, first of all. If you want to come to Germany, live in Germany. If you already are living in Germany and you want to drop your experience, maybe. Or if you want me to do part 2, let me know. And have a great day. Have a great week coming on. You know I love you, right? See you.